Are you tired of the same old pro wrestling? Then check out the amazing action on Powerslam.tv, the biggest indie pro wrestling channel in the world. Get over 4,000 hours of the best pro wrestling events from over 110 of the biggest names in the industry from over 15 countries around the globe. Get your free trial today at Powerslam.tv.
This is Jordan Grace, and you're listening to the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
BWB, this is One Nation Radio. You better get it right. Rich Latta, James Boyd came to give them life. The Blackest Wrestling Podcast has come to kick all ass and drop it 6 feet if they kicking trash. Word, let me welcome y'all to something different. And if you dig it, man, you should let some friends listen. We be getting it in, this on the regular, dude. Ravish and flow, but this shit rule. See, James don't rap, so I had to break it down. The whole network, man, we coming for the crown. Raps in the columns, I keep them both covered. Making the beats too, so the listeners can bump it. Hit us with the rating, yeah, I'm saying it's a 5. Before you hit it, talk, bob your head side to side. It's One Nation Radio, and this is the beginning. It's Rich, and I'm here with James. It's time to listen to One Nation.
You got to unleash the power of the pyramid.
This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
This is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fans, and that's all that counts to me. Goodbye and good night. Bang.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's edition of One Nation Radio. I'm James Boyd, and I'm here with the ultimate light skin, Rich Latta. What's going on?
Not much, man. Just, had a fun weekend, and I was, shouts out to all the moms out there that's listening. And I was with my mom yesterday making TikTok videos, dancing on hers, and I was making some comedy videos on mine, and chilling with Swerve this weekend, and we was getting into some music stuff. So, it's all right. Took that ride out to Orlando with no traffic.
In the middle of a pandemic, too.
In the middle of a pandemic, so living on the wild side.
Yeah, so when eventually they shut this shit all down, we can blame Richard Derek Latta. He's the one that broke the bubble.
Yeah, man. It was either that or I was gonna go out there and start protesting in front of the courthouse and doing squats and sit-ups and all that other stuff.
Come on, man. All right, I guess you got to talk about Florida. This wasn't on the show sheet, but Florida, how you always embarrass me. Florida, how I always still love you regardless. Yeah. So there was a small protest on some city hall looking building in Florida about wanting folks to get their rights to be able to work out at the gym again, and they did part of this protest by doing calisthenics, which thereby proves that you do not need the fucking gym to get your sweat on or your pump on or whatever you want to call it when you work out, you fucking morons.
Yeah, man. They was doing squats holding the American flag, and bro, I saw that, and that's right as you go over the bridge to Clearwater Beach. Like, that's where that is.
Wait, it wasn't Florida, it was actually Pinellas County?
Yeah, it was Clearwater Beach.
Oh shit.
Yeah, literally.
That's the kind of
15 minutes from the crib.
Yeah, that's the kind of me and Rich live in, by the way, folks. So yeah, that Clearwater is. Rich has lived in Clearwater. I've lived in Clearwater when I was younger. I've lived most of my life in a town that is adjacent to Clearwater. Rich right now currently lives in a town that's adjacent to Clearwater. Yeah, all bad. All bad.
Yeah. So if y'all saw that on the news, that's right near us. So, but yeah, we
another thing about that. Whenever you saw, like a month ago, when you saw people packing the beaches with what do you call it, spring breakers or whatever else, that was also Clearwater Beach. Are you sensing a theme here? This bullshit is happening around us.
Correct. They're trying to somebody's
They're trying to get your boys.
Is trying to get rid of One Nation Radio somehow, some way.
Yeah.
Like Jay-Z, Scarface, and Beanie Siegel said. But we've got a lot to get into, like literally going back to Wednesdays, and of course, we had the head-to-head, The Last Dance, with Money in the Bank. Kind of, I've seen like almost all of both. I did not finish the Seth and Drew match, but I'm hearing good things about it. And I did not see the Wyatt Strowman title match, but I saw everything else. So
okay, yeah. So I mean, before we get into that, and before we delve into even the Jordan stuff, I think one thing I need to ask you is how much of or any of it did you see of the Erykah Badu and Jill Scott?
I was locked in.
You was locked in, huh?
Oh, I was locked in, bro. I was, I had to, I was smelling the essential oils through the phone. I was, trying not to look Erykah Badu in the eye for too long, because then I might have to just, break quarantine and go get one of them hats, that we was talking about on here last week.
Yeah.
She had the Bruce Lee playing in the background in the back. I don't know if you remember in New Jack City when what's his name, Wesley Snipes, Nino Brown had G Money and Old Girl there, and he had like the movie in the background, but it was Scarface. Like she had Bruce Lee playing in the background. It was just like the aesthetic was like crazy.
It was on a black and white projector, yeah.
Right. And then Jill was out there just like, they were just playing funk. Like
Yeah. I didn't check it out for no particular reason other than these are two people that I know of some of their music, but it was not something I followed in the late 90s or early 2000s. That soul, I guess the last 20 years of soul singing is not really my steez or whatever else. Like I'm kind of like contemporary R&B and the like. Having a lot of the musical sensibilities fit in line with hip hop of the time. That's more my thing. But like I respect both of them. Like Erykah Badu, I think like you talk about how she is a bit of a man eater, and she quote unquote the people that she has lured has these like weird stretches of their careers musically, and I tend to disagree because like the most notable one is like the one that has one of the best discographies in the history of music, so I disagree, but whatever. I just another thing is like I listen to Stakeonia this week. I was listening to a lot of like best of Outkast type stuff. Like I was on Spotify and it's like clicked on the This Is Outkast thing, and it's like I forgot how awesome like my Humble Mumble is. So I was like, oh yeah, that's like this. That is like the Erykah Badu Outkast song, and it's just dope. So I'm like, I just can't. I as you were saying this stuff about like leading up to the Jill Scott Erykah Badu thing, I'm just like, here come Rich. He about to come off with these same jokes he's been saying for years, and I'm just gonna be like, nah, man. But yeah, like, who's people saying one?
Well, no one really. Everybody was just kind of enjoying it.
Okay, so it was basically like people took it the same way that they took it, where like they're both just like, yeah, play that hard shit, Jill. Oh yeah, play that hard shit, Erykah. They were both like, you can see they were both like, really putting on for each other because there's genuine love there between the two. It wasn't as much of a competition.
And there was like, I believe there was a song that Jill Scott wrote for Erykah Badu that she played. So it was like, this is so many styles. Oh, this is a group. So, and it was, I wouldn't call myself an expert on any of their catalogs or anything, but when you start just hearing this, I'm like, oh, okay, I remember hearing that when I was coming up or whatever. My mom would play this, and I'm like, oh, okay. So I tuned in for, about 20, 30 minutes, something like that.
Okay. Well, I mean, I wouldn't ask you nothing stupid like, was they looking good? Because the answer was hell yeah, dummy. But
yeah.
Like, is Jill Scott still the first team? Is the number one pick all time in the BBW One Nation Radio Draft? She's still number one overall.
Hey man, ever? I mean, there's her. There's Dasha Polanco from Orange Is the New Black. you know,
I mean, I'm not going to go too far. I didn't want to start just dropping a bunch of names, but I mean, I think last time we left it, she was number one. Is anybody like came for the crown?
I think Dasha would be the one. I don't know. We have to probably continue this conversation in the Discord if y'all want to holler at us about something like that. So I am not putting this on recorded air. Going too far into that list.
I think that's smart.
So join the Discord under the One Nation Radio tab. Who is on your list?
Oh man!
Look, Nia Jax got to get a spot.
Yeah, she's high. She's high somewhere on the list. I haven't figured figured out where she is. I don't know I don't think it's Mount Rushmore. I'm not even sure if it's the Pantheon, but like she's got to be out of the tiers from 1 to 5. She got to be at least a 4 tier. The higher you go, the better it is, not the lower. So
right.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess we got to get into the Jordan doc stuff, right?
Yeah.
So, do you want to talk about last week's edition of the 2 episodes? Or do you want to just talk about like the last 4 we got because weird?
Let's put them together.
Put them together. Okay.
Yeah.
So, the last 4 episodes cover from the 92 season to his return and his first title back from retirement in 96. I thought that last night's 2 episodes were, from a humanistic standpoint of getting to know the man beyond the accolades and the greatness. I think if you were looking for more than just he was a great athlete, watch his great highlights and the stories of his greatness, find out something human about him, to know something about him. I think these were the 2 episodes for you. And honestly, for me, like, this is kind of around the time where it goes from being like, oh yeah, I know when I was a kid, I know of Michael Jordan, he's the best basketball player in the world, to like, I love Michael Jordan. Like, so like this run from the retirement to the comeback is like when I start, like, my memory is like sharp as iron, when it comes to like the Jordan memory stuff then. So, for me, it's, I really enjoyed these past 4 episodes. I mean, what are your thoughts on what you got in these last 4 episodes?
The last 2 last night, I was terribly bored. I don't know why, but it was just like, I really don't care about going through the baseball thing again. It was sad seeing about his dad dying and all that, and thinking about like Mike was 30 years old when that happened, and but yeah, overall it was like, a lot of the stuff I knew, but it's interesting in hearing how he acted as a baseball player in that team dynamic compared to what he was doing in the NBA.
Yes, very, very interesting. Yeah, I think for me, when it came to the Jordan stuff, when it came to the retirement, like, people talk really big about the conspiracy theories of, well, was he suspended by Stern or the league or whatever else, and this was some version of an 18-month suspension because of the gambling, and he spent his time by doing that, and now he's back. And people love talking about and running away with that conspiracy theory, but like over the past 25 years. But the one thing that, like, watching this documentary and remembering what was happening in baseball at the time, like, and remember, like, some of the players in the work stoppage in 94, when we didn't get the 94 World Series. Jerry Reinsdorf, the owner of the Chicago Bulls and the Chicago White Sox, was a big proponent in the reason why we had a work stoppage in baseball. And it's never thought of in some... I don't think I've ever heard about it being brought up as far as...
I've never heard of nothing like that.
The conspiracy theory that Jordan retires... He wants to play baseball. Okay, come play baseball for my baseball team. We're heading towards a work stoppage in baseball. Okay, I have a World Series legitimate contender, and I have a league MVP in Frank Thomas. I am going to then I'm basically going to help shut down that World Series, and then Michael Jordan has nothing to do, so he possibly has to get the itch to come back. I don't think I've heard anyone ever bring that up, but like, I'm not saying that actually happened, but like, all these things are in place to where if you were to be a conspiracy theorist about it, like, you could go about it and try to connect more dots if you wanted to, but like, it's there for someone to speculate about, and like, we always hear about the gamble, but not that, and I was just like, last night, like, I thought about, I was like, how come no one has? That's weird.
Yeah, I can't say I've ever heard of that theory before. It was the whole first retirement thing. Honestly, is just bizarre.
It had to be a motherfucker.
Like, imagine, like,
Rich. Imagine being, instead of being born, and you were born in 89 or 90, right?
89, yeah.
Imagine being born in 1980 and this happened.
Yeah. So like, hold on, you're 30 years old and you're just retiring? Like,
right.
Why?
Right.
Like, and then Magic had retired at 31, obviously due to a debilitating illness, like 3 years before that or whatever.
People thought he was going to. Most of us thought that, like, most people thought that he was going to die.
Right.
Yeah, it's really strange. And another thing about it is, like, while he's retiring, it's like you see like the NBA career obits on him at the time, and they're showing it, and like you hear Tom Brokaw talk about it, and everybody else is like, after those first 3 rings, most people consider him the greatest basketball player of all time then. And like, to hear that and hear how like colored this stuff is now, when like hearing about all the old motherfuckers that like hated Kobe and hates LeBron, it's just like, okay. So when he won his 3 in a row, that was fine. That was enough to just go crown him. And now, like, we've gone to a place of such hypercritical nonsense and hate and flat out hating that, like, nah, we don't even do that now. Like, you must get 7 or fuck off. Yeah, I thought that was interesting. And it's like, damn, so y'all was really but what happened to this rings culture is real new. This is some real, the rings culture is some real millennial shit, because like, imagine nowadays if people were trying to say this with Jordan, they'd be like, well, and honestly, I'd be like, you kind of have a point here when it's like, okay, Kareem has 6 rings as well. Kareem has 6 MVPs to Jordan's 5. Bill Russell has 11 fucking championships. Magic Johnson has 5 championships. Y'all want to crown this dude for quote unquote only 3? Like, it would be a fucking. It was funny. Like, Skip Bayless would hate Michael Jordan.
Nah,
no,
like, because he had 3 with 3 back-to-back Finals MVPs. He
would have hated Jordan now if Jordan was basically, if we had this whole internet age, if Skip Bayless or whoever the Skip Bayless at the time was, he would have been hating the same way that Skip Bayless hates on LeBron. It's fucking like wild.
Skip be right.
Huh?
Skip be right.
Skip said that it was okay for Michael Jordan to keep Horace Grant from being able to eat after games if Jordan deemed that his game was subpar. Fuck Skip Bayless. Like, it's ridiculous. Get the fuck out of here. Like, if you talk about, and we'll cover this talking about a little bit later, but like, get into the, Jordan was a bully, Jordan was an asshole stuff that was in episodes, this week's episodes or whatever else. But
Jordan would have fit well with JBL and Ron Simmons and the Undertaker and the Culture. Yeah,
sounds real interesting. Actually, no, he wouldn't, because like they would have been like, yeah, he's tall, but he's skinny. He doesn't have to look for this business. They would have ran him out of here. But yeah, I just the Jordan stuff for the comeback. I thought that like the Gary Payton stuff where he just like Jordan don't concede anything, bro. He don't concede anything. Like, for them to talk about the 96 finals and to not point out that, like, and then, like, to go with the part about Jordan's mind was on his father not playing, even though, like, the Bulls annihilated them in the first 3 games. Like, then all of a sudden, like, last 3 games, like, his mind's on somewhere else. It's like, that's convenient, but, like
your dad, like, his mind wasn't on his dad, like, the whole 72 wins during the season, right?
Right. And then, like, look, man, Gary Payton is one of the
funny Jordan excuses are, like, the funny Jordan excuses are just, like, kind of hilarious, because these are a lot of things I used to say and just get shouted down, like, last decade when talking about, you know, I thought people should have respected Kobe. Like, you know, I was like, well, he went to the finals more times. Well, he played in a tougher era against, like, better defenders and everything like that. And you're just like, no. I'm like, look, man, this man was getting guarded by Hershey Hawkins, John Starks, Jeff Hornacek, Dan Marley. Imagine what Kobe would have done to them same people. Like, I don't know. Some of the stuff is like mythology, and then a lot of it is just like is wrapped in this presentation. But I feel like we all have our own kind of feelings on, like, you know, I think his career played out, like, in that sense, kind of like how it was supposed to. Like, you wasn't supposed to win in 95. Like, I don't want to hear the bullshit about you trying to roll out of bed and steal a ring. And you come out there and get your ass spanked. Like, man, like, all this shit about, they would have won 8 straight. You fucking believe that?
No,
like,
no.
I don't.
No, I never believed that. And another thing when it comes to, like, the 95 team, when he comes back, is like, people talk about that steal, or how, you know, Nick Anderson got him from behind and in game 1, and it's like, yeah, that happened, but it's like, Jordan played well in that series. Like, Jordan averaged over 30 in that series, right? And I think he scored 38, like, over 35 in a few of those games. It's just they lost because, like, they didn't have a Horace Grant or a Dennis Rodman on that team. Like, when he came back, they were, like, either 500, like, 34 and 31 or something like that when he came back. So it's like, that wasn't that, like, people confuse the 94 team and 95 teams, I think, was what happens with people. So it's like, oh, you know, Jordan didn't have his basketball body back or whatever else, which is true, but it's like, that team also stunk. And, like, Jordan, like, played, you know, was almost Jordan at that time. It wasn't like, you know, he was like, oh my God, he can't dribble with anymore with 2 hands, or, you know, with his left hand. It was like, he was just,
it didn't happen.
You know, yeah. Like, I think that the 96 stuff with his dad, for me, was, like, touching, because, like, that, I remember specifically the Father's Day thing, and I didn't remember much else about that series aside from, like, they smoked them the first 3 games, and then, like, Payton starts guarding Jordan, and, like, Jordan is not playing well, and then, like, they win game 6 on Father's Day, and then I remember him crying on the floor. One thing that this show, that this documentary got, was I had no idea that there was audio of him just like man crying, just sobbing, and, like, just so gutting to hear it. And for me, it hit me in a different way, because I was like, I remember this footage of him just laying on the ground crying. I didn't know if this was him, like, you know, crying his soul out onto the trainer's floor. So that was it for me. But yeah, I think the thing for me that's kind of getting long in the tooth is them trying to stretch the 98 season into being something more than it actually is, when they keep going back. When it's like, if they, I see what they're doing, a narrative device to try to, like, inform you for the past of why this season was so important, but it's like, the 98 season should have just been, like, the last episode and we call it day, as opposed to these things we keep coming back to. Because, like, you look at these seasons, like, the 98 season, is the 98 season the least important season of him in the 90s?
I would probably say the 90. No, that one's, like, the most mythologized because it has the shot and everything like that. I'd probably say the 3rd title.
The 3rd title?
Yeah.
I mean, but that's fresh off of, I mean, maybe I'm just confusing it because, like, I'm also mixing that along with, well, one, like, 93 might be their best team. talent wise, and then also like for me, it just felt like you almost put the 92. I almost put like the dream team with 93 together as one thing, and that's probably unfair. But you might be right, but like 93 might be the best Bulls team out of that whole run, like talent wise, because it's like it's Jordan like at the peak of his powers. It's Scotty like just a defensive force. Horace Grant's a defensive force as well, and like they're just killing all these teams that like only have 2 ball handlers and they're pressing motherfuckers. Like, that's another thing when you talk about, like, the NBA, like, now versus... Can you imagine trying to press... I don't give a damn if you have 2 Kawhis, like Jordan and...
Like, let them niggas try to press Kyrie Irving. All right.
Not even that. It's like, how you gonna press an NBA when you have now, at this point, at minimum 3 guys on the floor that can bring the ball up now, or 4 or 5 now in this league? This back then, there's only 2 dudes that can bring the ball up. Now there's 4 sometimes.
I think a lot of this stuff is like actually like in them trying to build up like the mythology of this era is like, for anyone that really knows the game, I think is blowing holes in it.
Well, I mean, but you got to keep in mind, like, a lot of people don't really know or care about that. Like, when they put up that 72, did you notice when they did the 72, talked about how they got the 72, and they wore the hats and they said it don't mean a thing without the ring? Am I the only one that sat there and felt like that was shade towards the 16 Warriors? Because I felt like that was shade.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, but, yeah, like, even going through that at the time, I was like, yo, is this the greatest team ever? And then, like, you look back and it's like, well, look at the, let's say after 90... Let's say, like, after 92, right? You start looking at some of these teams, like, perfect examples, like the Jazz. It's like, were the Jazz really a better team, like, in the late 90s than they were in the early 80s or early 90s? It's like, I don't think so. Like, at that point, you have, Stockton and Malone in their mid 30s. Like, their third best player is what? Jeff Hornacek. I don't know. Like, I just think that, like, the West got super weak. I don't know. It's really hard to explain, especially when you, like... I
think the West was really competitive at the time, but the thing was, there was, like, a star on, like, every team, at least. There was, like, Robinson on the Spurs, or 2, the Lakers were trying to get back.
These teams were, like, you have 2 dudes that, are worth a damn, and everybody else is, like, this is before we got to specialists, where it's like, all right, we'll put, Kyle Korver, no, is he some superstar? No, but like he's a deadly weapon because he has this 1 skill or 2 skills, and you have to account for that, and it makes it harder to defend the whole floor. You watch these. I watched Barkley's 56 points against the Warriors?
Yeah,
I watched that last week. And the thing about that is, like, Latrell Sprewell's also, like, matched him in the first half. This was crazy. But, like, you watch the game and it's like, none of these dudes are, like, real threats to actually defend, like, even with, most of these dudes, like, not being, or having, everything's being compacted inside the free throw line or whatever else. And it's like, how many skills do these dudes actually have or just were not flat out used? And I can't really tell the difference. And it's like, the league is so, like, Jordan, Barkley, Malone, Olajuwon, Shaq, Pippen, those dudes will still thrive the same way they always have. It's just like the bar for the average NBA player is so far raised now compared to then as far as the skills that they exhibit now. It's like that I just don't think that I feel like you can compare the greats, but like as far as like talking about like which leagues were better,
like nah, man.
Like I mean, and you hear people talk about it when they talk about like people that have been in leagues for a long time, like the vets from this era as it's changed to the 3-point shooting. Like I remember JJ Redick was like, the level of conditioning you have to be in to be able to defend the floor for to out to 30 feet now is like so far beyond what we were doing when I was a rookie or when I was a young boy, coming out of Duke. And I was like, he's probably right. But yeah, and I mean, I just think that, the games are so different that the only thing I can really judge is like, I feel like, when people talk about, will so-and-so survive the physicality of the 90s, I'd be like, all right, I want you to watch this Barkley game and see where like Barkley just gets to whatever spot he wants to on that left block. with ease. Like no one's pushing him out so far. Like I mean, they're pushing him out far from behind. They're not denying him or being over the top of him or any of that stuff. And it's like obviously the defensive rules are different, but it's like even if you play somebody's back, you can
because they will wait for you to get the ball, then beat you up.
Yeah. As opposed to, the smart thing, which is like, don't let him get the ball or deny as much as you can. But whatever. It's just the rules are different. I just think that the great players would have been great in whatever era in the last like 25 years or so, 30 years, whatever you want to say. But like average player, nah. Like, I thought it was super duper fun for me to watch like the Dream Team stuff. About like going through the Magic and Jordan thing, and they talked about that on the Dream Team doc. And I think a lot of the problems with this recent batch could be like the last 2 episodes that you saw could be the fact that, like, for example, a lot of that stuff was covered ground. Like when they did the Knicks and the Winning Time Knicks and Pacers rivalry of the 90s, right. That covers Jordan's retirement, right? The Jordan Rides the Bus 30 for 30 covers his baseball stuff. This Magic Moment covers the 95 Bulls when they beat Jordan. Like, a lot of this stuff is like been covered by ESPN his damn self for like hours. So it's like you're going like y'all are glossing over things that y'all have whole documentaries on already.
I was struggling. Like I was like to stay awake and then like just coming in and out.
Yeah. But I mean, we're about to get to the good stuff. So it's like once we get to this flu game shit and going to watch him, destroy Karl Malone, it's about to be real. Yes, it's about to be real fun. Like, I
saw my dog Reggie on there last night.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting too because like that's also like that's the first time they ever got pushed out to 7.
Yeah.
Right. So, I wonder if that game's online. I might watch it. It was a dog fight.
It is. Okay. I believe it is, yeah.
Should I? I want to watch it, but I know it's going to be bad.
Yeah, it's going. I believe it's in the 80s, and it's just junk basketball. Like as far as remember they won that game at the free throw line,
right?
Like
in rebounding by Pippen and Jordan. Yes, that's how they won that game. Yeah. So I'm like, should I do that? Actually, you know what? We should do that.
It sounds like a less exciting version of like basketball? The Lakers and Celtics in 2010 Game 7.
You know what? You know what we should do? We should watch it. You know who should we invite to watch it?
Who?
Regular listener of One Nation Radio, Dan Coffin. So yes, let's do that. Let's do that. Let's go watch Game 7 in 1998.
Bring this pain back that he's buried away.
Hey, he wants to be. If he wants to be a guest host, he will send the invitation. But yeah, on to actual wrestling news. We are recording the show in the middle of Monday Night Raw, so we're going to just basically do the breaking news, which is breaking news like 33 minutes of this podcast. But Becky Lynch has relinquished the Raw Women's title because she is now pregnant.
About to drop the album.
Yeah, I gotta say, for all the time someone of the last, 5-6 years when someone has become a champion, actually let's go back to 2011, this decade or past decade or whatever else, where someone has won the title or someone is champion and they have to relinquish a title and go away for a reason. This has to be the most positive one ever. I'm happy because she's happy. It seems like they're about to make it into a storyline with Seth. I don't know. We'll see by the time we get to the end of Raw tonight. But she comes out. She says that she talked about the fans bringing her to the top, and at first, causing her to rise to the top, and she has the Money in the Bank briefcase, which is weird. Asuka then comes out. She looks furious, as if like, you stole my briefcase. What the fuck? And she says, I want you to, you don't have the combination inside of this. You won Money in the Bank, but it actually was for something more than Money in the Bank. She opens the briefcase with the combination lock she has. The belt's in there. She tells Asuka she's champion. Asuka says, I'm champion? Really? and she grabs the belt. She's super happy. She starts dancing with the belt because Asuka, you know, been out of her mind the last like 3 months. But she then celebrates on top of the announce table and then comes back into the ring in front of Becky. And I'm thinking, like, is this some type of elaborate ruse? What's going on? And then she says, like, you're going to be a great champion. I'm happy, you know, if it's anybody, I'm happy for to be the take on this belt. It's you. You're going to be a great champion, a great fighter, a great warrior, and I'm going to go off and be a mother. And like Asuka, you know, even though they have like probably the best feud on the main roster this year so far, like she's like, you're going to be a mother, and then like she's like, congratulations, and they hug, and Asuka's in the middle of the ring, and it seems like they're genuinely happy, which is probably, you know, their relationship outside of on camera. And then Becky walks up the ramp and they show her crying, tears of, you know, bittersweet tears of, you know, what she lost just now, what she just gave up, and plus what she's on the road towards going through. This is, you know, the sweet part. But yeah, this definitely is a million times better than Roman saying like he's got to go fight for his life. This is a lot better than Daniel Bryan talking about how grateful he is. This is a hell of a lot better than Edge's retirement. Yeah. I really don't know if I should make a comparison to them. I'm just, other than the fact it's like those were the shits, and this one was like, I was happy the whole time. I mean, I don't know if you saw any of it.
I didn't see it, but I caught the news. You know, first thing I thought was, damn, Shawn Michaels wishes. I mean, Shawn Michaels in the 90s wishes he was able to get out of, you know, dropping the belt after a year reign of beating everybody via pregnancy. You know, Becky Lynch, elite level working, James. This is working like, you know, Lesnarian. Like, I'm gonna beat your UFC shoot fighter. I'm gonna beat your queen. I'm gonna beat your Southern Belle. I'm gonna beat your boss. I'm gonna beat your other shoot fighter on the way out the territory on top, still getting paid. Yes, if it sounds like it, what you're thinking, yes, it definitely is. Becky Lynch, Finesser of the Year candidate.
Oh my God! All right, put it on the list. Fine by me, but that's fine by me. I don't care.
Look, and when or if she comes back, she moonwalks right back to the belt.
Yeah. Another thing about that is like we talked about is another part of why I'm happy is like, I don't think there's any reason for her to ever come back. I think she should. I think she should just, you know, it's Rappington. Like it's a dub. Like I was the biggest woman. This company is I was the biggest push woman as a legitimate athlete that this company has ever made. If I come back, my fans might not come back, just like we have the proof of all these people when they come back. Will their fans come back, or they just tune out and be done, right? Then I'll get blamed as, you know, as a non-draw or whatever else, like how Edge is getting blamed right now, or Randy Orton.
Look, and she's going out during the pandemic. She ain't got to stick around and like do none of this with the rest of the belt. This is why I think this is just such a great move for her.
Right. And also, you know, just recently we heard reports and talks about, you know, The Rock has been, you know, has given her some guidance, or she is actually signed on with some of the same management that The Rock has. Like, she clearly is a charismatic person. She clearly is a person that can deliver and emote dialogue.
Hey, don't be shocked if you start seeing a pattern here. Like of injuries of
oh my God
during this pandemic, like Kevin Owens, for example, like he hasn't been on TV, like, and he's had this ankle injury that was apparently when he jumped off the WrestleMania sign, but if you go back through it, his ankle doesn't hit like at all. So I heard something about, you know, through back Twitter channels, I don't know how reliable it is, but talking about WWE wrestlers have their own doctors now. Like, they're not going, like, they're trying to run basically during this pandemic, either to get some of these excuses so they don't have to work during this shit, and they don't get the heat either. I would not be shocked if this was like, you know, when all this shit popped off, or even before that. Like, I would not be shocked if this was the plan. And this, if it was elite level working by Becky.
Look, I don't know about it being a plan or whatever else, but like, given, you know, after what happened that came out during the Dr. Aman stuff, you know, during the CM Punk countersue stuff, the trial or whatever you want to call that, I would suggest y'all get y'all own doctor too, because I mean, it's inherent that they want you back out there to work, and you know, they don't look, team doctors / staff doctors don't get paid because they keep you off the field. You catch my drift. So I mean, you can look around. There's a million of those in. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, wrestlers, now is the time.
Yeah.
Just chill at home. She ain't got to worry about going nowhere either. She can just hang out.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know what the future lies for her, but like, either way, like, if this is the end, she went out on top for sure.
Done it all.
Yeah. I mean, what else was she supposed to do? Was she supposed to wait for Ronda to come back?
Apparently, she must have like got some wind that it wasn't happening or whatever.
I mean, I don't even know about some wind or whatever else. I don't know if they were trying or not, if it was an accident or whatever else. Things happen. That's life. But like, look,
some say she has beat Ronda in 2 games now.
Oh God, she beat her to getting pregnant first. That's what you're saying? Oh my God,
that's not what I'm saying. That's what some are saying.
That's what some are saying. Okay.
Oh yes,
I see you related real quick though, right?
You know, got to be swift. You know.
Yeah. I don't know what to transition to after that. I mean, after we just talked about about the happiness and the joy of, you know, Becky is, you know, could possibly moving on to something else. Now we have to follow up with like this terrible news of, or I mean, actually just doing it in passing because I don't really know much of the details, but like, Del Rio is in this terrible situation. He is alleged to have sexually assaulted his girlfriend, right?
His girlfriend, yeah.
Yeah, like, and it involves, you know, really gruesome details.
Bizarre shit.
Yeah, some of which I don't know all of them, so I'm not going to go through all of them, but like the ones I remember, she was restrained, she was assaulted multiple times sexually, all bad. This is, you know, when it was interesting because like when I would hear the stuff about Del Rio and Paige or whatever else, a lot of the stuff sounded like, up until a certain point, a lot of stuff sounded just like, y'all are paying way too much attention to this relationship. Like,
y'all concerned trolling. Like,
yeah. And then it got to a point to where they had the airport incident, and it was like, okay, y'all might be onto something now. And then they broke up soon after that, and you know, now we're at this point now with Del Rio, where like every story you've heard about him, pretty much since his second return has been bad, all bad. Like the only so
man looked terrible in that mugshot. By the way, like looked like he was, you know, like wait, that man was starting to see spaceships on Bakehead. Oh, like,
yeesh. Yeah, I just you know, for his significant other that went through that, I hope that she finds some sort of, you know, justice, road to recovery, peace, whatever, after something that traumatic and heinous happens to you. Who knows? It's just bad, but I mean, I don't really have much to say aside from like, you know, this is a bad, terrible story.
Yeah. Just an awful story, a terrible fall from grace, and you know, if they found out that he you know, is responsible for this, and throw him under the jail, like
you know, after it was a certain point with me where just like once the Page Airport thing came, whatever, that's the first time I ever heard anything of something like even similar to this happening as far as him being physical with or whatever else. Like then it was like, all right, my tune has changed. Before it just sounded like, as you said, concern trolling. Then it was like, now I have something to really actually, you know. So ever since then I've been like, you know, distanced myself from like liking Del Rio as an actor or whatever, as a wrestling act. Like, this is some real life shit, and now this is like going far beyond the pale. But yeah, if there's anything else you have to say, we just move on to Money in the Bank from last night.
Yeah, let's get to Money in the Bank.
Yeah, a show that had moments. Actually, a show that had lots of moments. A lot of good stuff, a lot of bad stuff. I probably go thumbs in the middle on this show. One of the biggest things I go with is like, it was only like a 2.5 hour show, which is like, do you know how great a 2.5 hour show for WWE pay-per-view, main roster pay-per-view sounds? That sounds like heaven. It sounds lovely. Like, if this show had went another hour and a half, this show would have got a thumbs down for me probably. I don't think they would have had more good wrestling to make up for it. But which match did you say you missed out on?
I didn't see the 2 title matches. I saw everything else, like the 2 big title matches.
Okay, so the first title match was Braun Strowman versus Bray Wyatt, and it was Bray Wyatt in the Mr. Rogers sweater vest or sweater, and they pretty much just ran into each other a bunch of times and had a they were slapping meat. That's basically how I explain it. They were slapping meat, and they were having themselves a pretty good little match. And then the puppets came out around the ringside barricades, and then it turned into they kept doing these spots where like they would get each other outside the ring, and then they would like do Braun Strowman runs, and Braun Strowman runs and throws him into trucks him into the barricade. Braun Strowman gets out and he misses and gets thrown over the top, tumbling ass over tea kettle over the announce table, or Strowman is about to get back into the ring, and then Braun like wipes him out, and he ends up like falling off the apron onto the floor. So after Braun falls off the apron to the floor, they cut to a weird angle, and they did it. It was basically like Godzilla rising up out of the water, but it was Braun Strowman with the black sheep mask on. And I haven't watched any of the build. I remember, I think a week ago, I asked you, like, do you know what this build is? And the build is pretty straightforward for those two. It's like, you used to be a disciple. I want you back. That's pretty much what it was. Put the black sheep mask back on, Braun. No, I'm not doing that shit. That shit's dumb, Bray. That's pretty much the whole feud. Like, I'm not saying it as if, like, it's simplistic. I mean, like, it's simplistic in that, like, I saw it and I was like, oh, okay, that's better than I thought some whatever nonsense they would have came up with if they, left their own devices. So Braun comes up with the black sheep mask on. Bray thinks that he is back on his team. All of the puppets, Sister Abigail, Huskus, the Buzzard, the Rabbit, they all come up and they're like, wow, you did it, Bray. And at different points in the match, they all pointed out that like Bray is having this inner monologue with himself, which obviously is him as himself trying to convince the Fiend that the Fiend is not needed to win over Braun. So the puppets start saying, "Yay, you did it, Bray, you're a genius. We didn't need the demon," right? And then all of a sudden, Braun puts his hand around his neck. I think he choke slams him, and then he power slams him, and he walks off. And then all of a sudden, they teased with a audio flash that like, this isn't over, and now you're about to get the Fiend. So they were having like 3-star wrestling, and then they went out there and they want to do their wacky storytelling, and it brought the match down. Have you ever heard that before, the Bray Wyatt match? about the storytelling, and the shit has brought the match down. It seems like we're on a familiar track here.
Yeah, looks like they got a 1.67 average on Grapple right now, so I don't think I missed much.
I think that's appropriate. I would say to you, if you want to watch it, I would say just watch it for the wrestling, and then once Bray pulls up the once he goes up with the sheet mask, I say turn that shit off, because I thought they had a good wrestling match. But the actual action was good, and then like all the rest of it, the storytelling and the nonsense, like brought it down really, very badly. And then the other title match was Brock Lesnar, Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins. This is interesting because like I've seen them have multiple matches before, and I've always thought they had good chemistry. But those have always been like those 9 o'clock matches on Raw, whatever else. And now there's no crowd. There's no, we got to a point with Seth where it was like nothing mattered until you got the Falcon Arrow. In this match, it was pleasantly good. Like, I mean, by pleasantly good, I mean like, look at them getting look at them going above 3.5 stars. Check that out. So, I give it 3 3/4, but like, it's classic WWE pay-per-view main event title match. It was just everything you want, like straightforward match. They're technically wrestling. Drew may not be the better wrestler, but he's bigger and stronger, so he's able to overpower some of the chain wrestling stuff. He's overwhelming Seth with the size. Seth goes and starts drop kicking the knee. He starts working over the knee. Drew has to fight through it, and they go back and forth. There's some cool spots, like they do a spot where Drew goes for a superplex into the so he's on top of both ropes, trying to go suplex. Seth, he ends up attacking the bad knee. He ends up in a tree of woe on the bad knee. Seth literally stomps on the knee from the top turnbuckle, and then he goes to try to do something else, and then Drew basically just springs up and basically like Daniel Bryan monkey suplexing him off while he's in tree of woe. There's a spot where they basically trade like flash finishes to each other. Like there's a super kick, there's a headbutt, there's a super kick, there's a claymore kick. That was the finish. Like I really enjoyed this match. This is one of the best matches like singles match Seth has had in like
a year
and a half, 2 years. Like this would have fit right up there with like the early 2018 Seth stuff when he was actually on fire. So it was really good, and I thought like given the matches that Drew has had on TV with Andrade, or basically like the Zelina Vega army or whatever else, like in the ring he's getting it done as a champion right now. I don't know how you come to any conclusion other than he's been a very good champion so far. Obviously there's no crowd or whatever else, but he comes out, he has good matches, he kicks people's asses. You can see when he comes out and talks that he has a sense of humor and a lightness, and it's not like the same as, he's found a way to kind of differentiate himself from the typical I'm the champion now. It's had to be like the MC of the show, nice guy that they've been trying to make everybody since Cena became the top guy. Yeah. He's found a way to kind of like be like point out that like what he does kind of wacky and kind of like cuts it off before it goes too far. I've enjoyed his title run so far.
Yeah, I might have to check that out. He looks good with the belt, yes, and he feels like it belongs. Yeah, it feels like it belongs. Like I'll give him that. I saw the interview.
That's one of the things that why we always said about him is like he's always been a looks apart all-star, especially since he came back through the NXT run. It was just like, and I remember I think at the time when he had the match with Bobby Roode, I was like, he has the matches that Vince McMahon will want to put on his main event or whatever else. He's having better matches than those now with Seth, but like when he was in NXT and he was having those matches with Andrade not McIntyre, but Roode, you knew that like, yeah, he's definitely on the standard. It's only a matter of time, and he's reached the destiny. He's reached that peak already. So I mean, other things on the card I think you will watch. I think the opener, the 4-way tag match, was very good.
Yeah, I saw that. It really felt like they actually adjusted to the empty arena, and to where it's like not like bothering the match, and it just feels like everyone's adjusted to the environment. I'm told that it just feels like people are doing matches like in practice or something. So that's what it feels like for the wrestlers. So,
like as far as like there's no adrenaline,
right?
Adrenaline.
Correct. Yeah. And New Day ended up, keeping the belts, I believe. It was jarring to see Kofi getting beat down by Cutler at certain points. It's funny, out of all the people that cut their hair in the group, Cutler wasn't the one that needed to do it.
Don't start that. Don't start. Look, in the words of Patrick Ewing and Michael Jordan, don't start that shit. Okay, so look,
and you know what? I can kind of appreciate like they're hitting us in the head with the Forgotten Sons and what they are, like the American flag jeans, but it's not too far where it's just like, it's not the Undertaker sitting there in a Blue Lives Matter shirt saying, hey, watch my damn documentary. Like,
yeah, you're right. There obviously is a lot of Americana, if you will, in the Forgotten Sons gimmick, and it's always been there. I think it's quite interesting that like you were, you hung out with Swerve, and it's like, how come Swerve wasn't like adopted as a Forgotten Son as well? Is it because? Never mind. But yeah, I really enjoyed the match. I thought that it's interesting because they did the Michael Coleism where Michael Cole stops calling the match to get over the character, which is like, cool, but like got kind of find a balance. Gotta find a balance.
Like, let me pause everything I'll say on the action and then ruffle my other paper to where I have all
to give you the listicles. Yeah, basically bios. But yeah, one thing I noticed from this show or this match onto Money in the Bank when they introduced all the players in Money in the Bank, these build heights and weights are out of fucking control. They build Cutler and Blake as one was 230 and another one was 240. No, they are not that goddamn big. Not even close.
Like, they're probably like a smooth 215, 225, maybe 230 at the most. As far as the bigger one.
You mean like Riker?
No, Riker's probably a smooth 250. Riker's
in the 250 range. Them other two are not even close. Like, both of them twos are under 225. Yeah, but it was interesting. And then, like, you get to, like, Money in the Bank, and then you see that they listed Baron Corbin as 6'8", and I'm like, oh.
Bro, when they said he was 6'8", 280, I was like, he doesn't look like LeBron. I've seen 6'8", 280. It don't look like Baron Corbin.
Could you fucking imagine? we used to have the LeBron "You Bum of the Week," right? And the only time that you could ever like find on the internet where you can have a comparison of LeBron James and Baron Corbin was us. We were giving him awards for being a bum. Outside of that, hell no. So, yeah, I just, they said that Ray was 5'6". They said that Daniel Bryan was 5'10", and I'm like,
Daniel Bryan probably a smooth 5'8", Ray probably a smooth 5'4".
5'3" or some shit like that. Yeah, it's just whatever, man. I just got a good laugh. I forgot to see what they said AJ was. They probably at that point they probably said AJ was a good 5'11" or something. 5'11". They probably said he was 5'11", lined their asses off.
AJ smooth 5'9".
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, so trying to think what else was on the card. Oh, Bayley and Tamina.
Yeah,
people hated this match apparently, and I watched it and I thought to myself, Bayley is putting in a very good performance here. It's a straightforward storyline where she's being a chicken shit heel. She's playing with the monster. The monster gets pissed. She realizes what she's done. She has realized that she has made a terrible mistake, much like George Bluth from Arrested Development. and she's bumping around this woman like a crazy person, and then she does some very, very, very good ass leg work on Tamina to neutralize her. They set it all up for a spot to where like Tamina is going to put her away with the super kick, because that's that's her signature move or whatever else. Bayley picks the super kick and great in all in one motion, catches the super kick, follows grapevines the leg, and goes for the ankle lock on some Kurt Angle shit, which I thought looked great. It was a struggle to the ropes. Tamina has her beat. Who comes out? Sasha gets into the ring to try to distract Tamina from pinning her. It worked because it bought her extra time. Tamina then follows Sasha around the ring, gets back in. Bayley goes to attack. Tamina gets her up on her shoulders and is going for the Samoan drop. Bayley turns it into a crucifix pin and pins her.
Yeah, I thought she was a dummy at the finish.
Yeah, it was definitely all the bad babyface, but like, it's Tamina. Who gives a shit? Like, she's not going to become the number 3 babyface in the women's division. She is just a prelim person that they give a spot here. Like, whatever.
Yeah, I can't really get too bent out of shape. It was just there. Like, I thought it was like an average ass match, mediocre match. I didn't think it was like people thought it was like a 0-star match. I'm like, yikes. Nah, like I wouldn't go that far. Like this was not Bray Wyatt versus Seth Rollins in a Hell in a Cell. Right. This was not like an embarrassment to the profession like that. Right. But it was bad, and Tamina comes with like her own preset notions. When people going into the match, like, oh, it's just gonna be so horrible because Tamina's in it. Yeah, it might be bad, but it's like, all right, she gets like. I hate to say this, but like she never really gets an opportunity to show what she can do, and they're doing it on like what's essentially a throwaway pay-per-view in front of no pants. So I think we can live with it.
If they were doing this in fans, I don't think we would have got over it because Tamina's not over.
Yeah, it would have been worse in front of fans.
Yeah. I think that's all the matches.
Bobby Lashley came out and got rid of R-Truth.
That's right.
MVP popped me when he cut a promo on R-Truth. Even though I don't really believe in talking in front of company like that, but just Money in the Bank ladder match is the last thing.
Yeah. I don't know where to start. I want you to be like, the beginning. Thanks, Rich. That's really helpful. Okay, so the women, they all do entrances for the women. They walk out side by side and basically the main entrance on the first floor, seemingly, and then the men get their entrances and they're in the weight room because I don't know. They start fighting all around the weight room. Asuka gets her entrance last. Her music hits, but no one knows where the hell she is. And then one of these geniuses decides, hey, I wonder if we should look up. They pan up, and Asuka is hanging off of the fucking second floor balcony and is dancing because she's out of her goddamn mind, and I love it. She then does a floor dive off of the second floor on top of 5 women that are underneath marble tile. Right? Like, if this goes wrong, it's going to go real wrong. Luckily, they all caught her. Then the men start fighting. There's a spot where Corbin grabs a weight plate and throws it into the mirror. Corbin then is shook as if he's like, oh my God, I'm going to have 7 years of bad luck. Like, thank God this was Corbin, not a babyface. I would have thought they were the biggest dipshits in the world. Like, he really thought he ruined his life when he broke this glass or this mirror. So there's more fighting. You get to a spot to where, they're basically by a squat rack, or really a cleaning, section or whatever else for do cleans, and they put AJ on the ground. Then Otis picks up the bar that looks like it is like over 400 pounds on it, and he drops it right on AJ's, not drops it, but put it on top of AJ's chest, which would give the illusion that he trapped him there to basically die or be left until the somebody finds him. Anyway, everybody's leaving out of that section. All the men are leaving except for the last person to leave is Ray. AJ begs to Ray, please get me out of here. Please save me. I think Ray said, "Da loca," which I think, you crazy. I think it sounds like you crazy, and left him there to die. And I fucking, at that point, because you have Asuka doing dives in the middle of fucking cinematic wrestling off the floor, willing to risk it all. And you have them, the Corbin spot, and you have, one of the greatest baby faces of all time, like leaving someone to fucking die. I fucking howled at that point in time. I'm loving this match at this point in time. Asuka, after the dive, she ends up getting to the elevator and going up. She's in the elevator at that point for like forever.
I can only assume that she didn't understand the numbers.
Maybe not. But no, actually, I'm gonna say no, because she damn sure understood how to press that door close, like the button to make the door close faster. She damn sure understood that part. So, look, she been around long enough. She knows the number system. Trust me. She be driving. She knows the number system. So anyway, the rest of the women all basically go up to some spot, the second stage or whatever else, because I don't know what floor is what, so I'm gonna say the second stage. Get to the second stage, they all start fighting, and they end up stumbling into this Money in the Bank room, right? So it is, at that point in time, it is Dana, and it is Carmella, and Shayna, and Nia. Shayna and Nia dispose of two geeks. Then Shayna and Nia have a stare down. Nia wins the fight. Gets Shayna put down. Then Dana gets back up and grabs a chair and wraps it around Nia's back.
This was the dumbest shit I've ever seen.
You've seen dumber, it's WWE. So then
it kind of goes in my overall feelings on the match, which I'll get to in a minute.
Well, this is the thing for me. This is what I thought they were going to do. They show like I said, they're in a Money in the Bank conference room for some fucking reason. They show that there is a Money in the Bank briefcase that's clear and it's filled with a bunch of money. So Dana sees it, goes on top of the table, grabs it, pulls it down. And I'm thinking, because she's a heel right now, last I checked, or she's, whatever. I thought she's going to see that suitcase full of money and be like, SmackDown Women's title, fuck that. I have 500 G's right here. I'm good. That didn't happen. All of a sudden, they cut to an angle that is clearly Stephanie not in the building, pretending to be in the building and saying, Dana, the briefcase is on top of the roof. We've been telling y'all that for weeks, dummy.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how the fuck, like, did she not know the rules of the match before? God damn it.
I don't know. But anyway, Dana says, oh, well, thanks, Stephanie. And then she basically leaves the money behind for some fucking reason and goes to leave out of the room. And then as she walks out the room, she gets decked with a right from Lacey Evans, that, her finisher, the WMD. And then Lacey Evans goes and runs off. From the men's perspective, while that's happening, their stage 2 is they are by some elevators. They're trying to go up the elevators. And they end up in this section that's by the waiting area to get to elevators, and they have half of a ring almost around the other side of the wall. So Daniel Bryan traps Corbin's arms into the ropes, the top and bottom rope, and he starts throwing yes kicks. Otis starts doing the yes chant as he throws the yes kicks. Daniel Bryan sees that fucking geek and it starts giving him some. Then Alistair's there, so Alistair's fighting. Alistair realizes, this is fucking stupid. I'm about to dip out of here while y'all fighting and, go to stage 3. So he leaves. After Daniel Bryan finishes whooping Otis, he's like, oh shit, where'd Alistair go? Let me move on to stage 3. Meanwhile, while everybody, before that all happened, because I missed this part, while everybody's getting to that elevator stage, Ray was behind with AJ, leaving him to die on the 400 pounds of weight on his chest. He's trying to catch up. He goes by a bathroom. He hears a bathroom toilet flush. Right? So he basically stops in his tracks and like backs up and is like, who's in the bathroom? Who's out here taking a shit? I guess. I don't know. All of a sudden, Bruce Pritchard dressed as Brother Love comes out. They show up. They pan to Ray. Or they cut to Ray. Ray has the biggest smile on his face like, oh, you taking a shit, huh? I don't know what. Look, Vince and his love of toilet humor is just a signature. But like, Ray finally caught up. Anyway, cut back to, I'm sorry. By that point in time, when all that's happening in the elevator, the women catch up, right? And they're trying to get to the elevator. Asuka's still in that elevator. So all that wrestling is happening, and the elevator's been moving at like a glacial pace or whatever else. Asuka gets out of the elevator and goes to stage 3. Then we go back to, I guess, stage 2, where AJ has somehow, with no explanation, off panel again, escaped death. Like just like he did in the Buried Alive match. It was like, yeah, I was trapped underneath 400 pounds. So what? Just like how you said, yeah, I was buried. So what? Just everything can be explained with AJ Styles. Is so what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So he's looking for Ray to murder him because Ray left him to be left for dead. He starts looking around, trying to find him as if Ray is hiding, supposed to, trying to rapidly run up the building to go get this, briefcase. He runs and sees, like, they have memorabilia on the walls, certain places. There's memorabilia of Ray's return at, I believe it's either WrestleMania 30, I think it's WrestleMania 35 or the Royal Rumble 2018 when he came back. Mm-hmm. So Ray, AJ's mad, he punches the picture. So he walks around another corner and he's spooked. And it's a picture of Undertaker at a WrestleMania. Then the next thing you know, he sees a room and he's drawn to the room. And all of a sudden he opens the door. And apparently the room has purple lights and a casket inside of it and is lit up. And I think the Undertaker music plays. I can't remember. But basically, AJ is shook that the fucking Undertaker
has an office.
Has a corporate office at HQ for God knows what reason. Anyway, as I said, Aleister Black was moving out of stage 2 to get to stage 3. All of a sudden, while AJ is still at stage 1 trying to get to stage 2, Aleister shows back up in his middle part at stage 1.1.5 when he's really already at 3 and beats up AJ, throws him into Undertaker's office and locks the door, leaving him to be left for dead, presumably again. So now we're at stage 3. Stage 3 is the cafeteria or some food eating area where Paul Heyman is there for some for who the fuck knows. He's eating in front of enough food for like, I don't know, 20, 25 people. All of a sudden, the women come from stage left, the men come from stage right. They meet in the middle like they're about to scrap, even though there are 2 briefcases. It's not like it's, men and women fighting for one briefcase. It's women fighting for one briefcase and men fighting for another one. Whatever. All of a sudden, Dana Brooke, not Dana Brooke, I messed it up when I said that, whatever, it doesn't matter. Somebody that got their ass, got hit with a, picture and had it wrapped around their body, stumbles into Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman had a sandwich in his hand, and the sandwich ends up like falling into Otis's chest. Otis catches the food. That causes him to rage out, hulk up, and yell "food fight." Food starts going everywhere. Heyman is hit with the food because, of course, fuck his suit. Vince, ha ha ha, gotta get the fat guy embarrassed. So, it leads to Ray being choked out by Shayna for no fucking reason. It also leads to, while he's being choked out, Otis from the right and Nia from the left squash him in the middle like a sandwich. And then after that happens, they have a stare down. They have a stare down because they're both big, I guess. That's the only explanation for the stare down. They have a stare down because they're both big. Then from there, like I said, one came from one side, one came from the other side, and then they all dispersed by going in opposite directions, even though they're all headed towards the same... They're both all headed up, but they're going left and right trying to get there. Which means, like, yes, I'm sure there are different ways to get up there. However, like... that means that y'all just pass these areas to get there. Like, I don't know, whatever. It's confusing. So, next thing you know, they get to stage 4. Stage 4 is like Vince's office and Triple H's office in like the boardroom or whatever you want to call it. Because you can see certain things you've seen in pictures before, whatever, you can connect the dots. So Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles at this point, remember, last time we saw him, he was left for dead in like stage 1.5. We're at stage 4 now. All of a sudden, he catches up out of nowhere, ends up at stage 4, fighting Daniel Bryan. They fighting around the boardroom. They fighting to Vince's office, because if you've seen Vince's office before, he has the T-Rex head or whatever else. And then all of a sudden, you're looking like, wait a second, is that Vince? All of a sudden, Vince says, hey, what the hell? He's like, get out! They're like, yes, sir. Sorry, sir. And then they both basically, after, like, they moved some they moved furniture. They had two chairs. They moved around while they were tussling, and they put the chairs back in place, and they walked out. They get back behind it, and then Vince turns around. Before he turns around, he squirts some hand sanitizer in his hand, wipes his hands, and then turns around, sits down, and starts scribbling into a legal pad, which is like, bro, you on this one table, you just squirted the hand sanitizer into your hand. You had a cell phone right there. And you were going to then turn around, go to your desk, and write into your legal pad. You have a fucking computer in your pocket, Vince. You're writing notes in a legal pad. This is dumb. Whatever. So they get behind the door, because AJ and Brian politely closed the door, and they said, you were such a kiss ass. You were so scared of Vince. And he's like, what about you? You the one that told us to go put the chairs back. He says that AJ. AJ goes, yeah, you're right. I did do that. Punches. He says, after pausing and says, yeah, I did that. Punches Daniel Bryan right in the face. They start fighting more. Corbin catches up. Corbin lays out both of them, I think, and then says, I'm going to the roof. Motherfucker, I thought that's what we've been doing for the past 20 minutes. Anyway.
Ceiling is the roof.
Yeah, kind of. So then... from there, it's time for the women to get at stage 4 to get to the roof. They basically fight a little bit. Asuka is then like, she has that huge head start on everybody. She runs into a janitor and says, and she's trying in Japanese, trying to say like, how do I get to the roof, motherfucker? This motherfucker's like, and while she's pointing up and stuff, she I don't know. Realize that the rest of the pack is on her heels. She just starts running. She goes up the stairs. There's more tussling. They end up on the stairs. Basically, the women get up there first to the roof, and it's basically Asuka. Only women that make it up to the roof are Asuka, Lacey, and Nia. Asuka keeps climbing. Asuka keeps getting knocked down. Asuka keeps climbing. Asuka keeps getting knocked down. They get to a point where they take out Nia. Nia's down forever because Asuka dropped the ladder on her and put it back up. They go back up the ladder, and Lacey's behind Asuka. Asuka then throws Lacey off the ladder on top of Nia. Then all of a sudden, just keep in mind, the men's and the women's briefcases are right next to each other. Right next to each other, Rich. Asuka is now on the second to last rung or whatever else, about to grab her women's briefcase. Then comes Corbin. Corbin climbs up the other side of the ladder and tries to interfere with Asuka grabbing her briefcase when his briefcase is right fucking there. Asuka then, after being fucked with, slaps him in the face and then boots him off of the ladder and then grabs her briefcase. She wins the 2020 Women's Money in the Bank. Then all of a sudden, Otis AJ, Daniel Bryan. I think all six men make it to the top. All 6 men make it to the top. So while this is all happening, Corbin recovers. He throws Rey Mysterio Jr. off of the building.
To his doom.
To his death.
Or Ray landed and gave somebody a Hurricanrana at the bottom.
Yeah, why not? Speaking of Hurricanranas, in the tag match, Lince Dorado hit a Dragon Rana. That shit was awesome. But anyway, then later he throws Aleister Black to his doom as well.
Right? Now, he doesn't have any high flying moves that I know of like that, so he probably just
K Brada's, whatever. The thing about it is, like, all these punches are like have sound effects punches. Like, these aren't like they added effects to this. So like after he throws them over the top, you hear splats. like they're fucking street pizza on the floor or like on the ground. Anyway, I forget how Daniel Bryan gets taken out. I don't even remember. But it basically comes down to AJ Styles, Corbin, and Otis. AJ lays out Otis. I'm sorry. Otis lays out Corbin. Then AJ lays out Otis with a phenomenal forearm. So he's down. So AJ goes up and climbs. Corbin has recovered. They're both on different ends of the ladder. They both unhook the briefcase. They both fight for it. Elias shows up and he gets his vengeance for the time that going into WrestleMania where Corbin murdered him. And he bashes him with a briefcase. With the guitar, which makes Corbin drop to the ground and lets go the briefcase. As he does, AJ butterfingers it and fumbles it, and it falls into Otis's hands, and he is the 2020 Men's Money in the Bank winner. And then he yells, "Yo, Mandy, I did it," which reminds me, supposed to be like, "Yo, Adrian." I thought that until they start getting into the who's on what floor issues, which fucked it up, like the first 8 minutes of the match, I loved because it was just wacky and goofy and like what it should be and not taken seriously at all. And then they start doing stuff where like people are on the wrong floors and people are all of a sudden ahead and they're behind and the pack's caught up when they don't realize why they caught up or whatever else, and it just turned into a convoluted mess. Would I watch this match again? Probably, because it was that ridiculous. It's a match that I think everybody should watch to show you how ridiculous wrestling can be. Was it a good wrestling match? Fuck no, it wasn't a wrestling match. But it was something that I thought was legitimately entertaining. And yes, at times it was frustrating because of the continuity issues, but I thought that it was at points very on the nose funny, purposely funny, and also like a lot of times unintentionally funny too. And for me, I give it one thumb up and I leave it at that.
I didn't laugh.
Ain't wrestling though.
I didn't laugh once watching this. I was watching it just like, wow. I felt like they were trying too hard to be funny. It was like they were setting up every situation to
like sight gags. You mean like the
shit? You could think of, but it just didn't land for me. Like I just was like,
I hated the doink thing. It made no sense to me.
I was like,
doink.
Like, I don't get it. And then like, let alone it being Otis that wins, right?
And the way Otis won,
like
he didn't win. Like two dudes lost. He didn't win.
They're gonna go ahead and let him eventually be the champion. Like,
no,
you don't make Eugene the champion. You don't make the Disco Inferno the champion. You don't make Rikishi the champion. You don't make the Hurricane the champion. You don't make Brodus Clay the champion. You don't make Hugh Morris the champion. Like,
one thing I think is dumb. One thing I think is a bad idea with Otis is the fact that like you only want to give him a title shot if it's going to be in front of a crowd to want to root and cheer for the lovable, wacky, baby face that's not really, you're not supposed to take serious. Like, give him a title shot in front of people and then see what you have after that. Not like do it in front of no fans whatsoever. So for me, like, it's a bad pick from that perspective. But then again, who knows if he even like gets to cash it in? He might lose it, or Manny might screw him over, because they love to have women screw you over on WWE television. So who knows? But that wouldn't have been my choice. I agree with you. That wouldn't have been my choice. Even though I love Otis, that wasn't my choice.
He wouldn't have been in my top 50 choices, top 100 choices. But yeah, I did not find like the all the humor and in the match and everything. It was just like I was watching it and I just didn't get it. It didn't hit for me at all. I stayed quiet pretty much during the whole review because it was like it wasn't to be taken as a match, but I was like, it's just like I don't know, man. It just wasn't.
You ain't like it.
Yeah, I ain't like it. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. So let's move on to AEW Dynamite last week. Now, if you want a wacky ass, goofy ass match that was like not necessarily a wrestling match, but like had, but worked on most levels. This is your main event from Dynamite with the Lake Sex Gods, Jericho and Sammy Guevara versus Matt Hardy and Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega had one of the spots of the year. He comes off a scissors lift and like could have cracked his fucking watermelon if he wanted to.
Bro.
Like he goes for like what was it, like a 12-15 foot moonsault off
that
of
shit
a scissors
just kept,
lift
like,
onto three people or whatever else. I thought that like you really tempted fate. I wouldn't have done that, not for no damn TV match. Yeah, he's out of his mind,
bro. Like when he started like going up on that shit, it just felt like it kept going, and how I knew, like he was like trying to, like he went up there and immediately did it. He wasn't trying to think about it. He wasn't trying to do nothing like that. It was just like whoop, and I felt like he was sending a message to Cody. Oh, you want to do a moonsault, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. At the first part, I thought that like, oh god, he's going to do a moonsault onto this crash pad thing, and then like, or actually, I thought that someone was going to hit a move off of that, and then like somebody got moved and got up, and then it turned into the moonsault thing. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Like, was the table there as a setup for like, all right, if I'm going to miss, I'm going to miss forward, and that way, like, if I miss, I'm going to land on this table to guide my fall so I don't die. But if I go too far back, I'm going to either break my ankle on this concrete, or I flip off of them and I kill myself by cracking my head on the concrete pavement. So I was trying to think like what his idea was for trying to land this thing, and I was like, the more I think about it, it's like, you're right. It was just like, he didn't even have a chance to even look where he was going. Like, he basically like had to judge it while he was climbing, or as he was climbing up, like, all right, this is about what I need to do. And then like, once I get my footing, I just go. Yeah, like, I ain't risking it. It wouldn't have been me, brother.
Jeans on you niggas.
Yeah, so I mean, you have the spot where like they're trying to murder Sammy with the golf cart. Sammy takes
meme of the year so far. It's just like
it's a Jackass bump. That's a bump straight out of Jackass. You doing stuntman shit? Stop this, like,
bro. That was like.
Do you think?
Of course, you had to do the Young Metro to it. It was just amazing.
Do you think that his hands blocked the bar, or do you think that bar actually clipped his neck? I'm not sure.
Sammy's a bump god, so he probably protected himself.
Yeah. It looked like he got just decapitated by the damn sidebar of the golf cart. Like, it was just ugh. I'm trying to think what else happened. Janela and Cody opened the show. They had a good match. They had a weird thing where Janela was trying to do some flippy spot off of like the corner of the ramp. It didn't work. So Cody can say like, nah, how about I just punch you in the face instead and we'll continue wrestling. I thought it was a fine match. I didn't think it was great or good. I thought it was fine.
Clash of styles, and it's kind of good to see these rather than segmenting all these guys that are.
Person won.
Yeah.
So, got What else? You go through whatever else is on the card because I don't. I'm having
Moxley and Frankie Kazarian.
That's right.
I really liked that match. And,
I did too.
Like Frankie Kazarian showed up with the fresh line on you boys.
Yes, this man has clearly been talking to Jericho. This man is clearly has. I don't know if it's a knife or if it's I don't know what you do in scissors. So, I don't know. All I know is that like Sammy,
the hair was even more grown in.
Yeah, like all I would say is like Kazarian is also now to the plug, and I will leave it at that.
Like that man, kind of like if you like kind of squinted your eyes, it looked like John Moxley was wrestling like a shorter Randy Orton.
My god. Hey, since we talk about Kazarian and Jericho right now, like when is Moxley when is he too going to go talk to Jericho?
Bro, he might. This has been his hair for years and years and years, and it ain't went nowhere.
You sure about that?
Yeah.
You sure that hairline's the same as it was 2014? Because I don't think it is.
Because all right, so in 2014 he wears his hair down a lot,
right?
But he cut the back a little. I don't know.
It's I think he needs his thing is like he doesn't have a moonroof situation. He has a receding hairline situation. So I think I need if you somebody that cares about that sort of thing, like obviously there's a Piper influence there. Piper went to Hollywood. I don't know if you can go to Hollywood looking like that, my guy. You might want to go holler at Jericho. We'll see though.
The Moxley and Kazarian, like that match though, like they wrestled the fuck out of each other,
yes.
Like, and it was like, as you know, that Frankie's like really good. Like I missed a lot of Frankie Kazarian's career, but he's, they made him. He's like, yeah, he's a tag team guy, but he's a really good wrestler, and he can hang there with the world champion, and ultimately, Moxley beat him.
Yeah, and the thing I liked about it is like, in theory, this should make sense that they could have a contested match. Like this is one of the inaugural tag team champions, and he's wrestling the world champ. Like this should not be some he dismisses this dude. Like this should be a thing where like Moxie's a better person, but he had to sweat to beat that dude, and that's what this was. And I thought it was a very good match, really well done from a technical mat-based and chain-based wrestling, at least start out like match. I really enjoyed what they were doing. Like this was a lot better than like the beginning of Moxley versus Hager from a few weeks ago. Yeah, the wrestling was a lot better technically. So
at the end of the match, Dark Order came out and put the boots to him, and Brody Lee is the challenger. Brody Lee cuts a long promo on Mox. Mox is like, all you had to do was ask, and I laughed because I was like, wow, it's the WWE coming back to beat up Jon Moxley.
Yeah, I thought that the line was like, every time he does stuff like this, it makes me think of that Jericho interview where he talks about like a lot of my sensibilities to be like John McClane and Die Hard, and that line is like smart ass. Like he's getting his ass beat, and he's still a smart ass through it all. Like I liked it. I really like. He really understands and knows his character.
Amazing how that works. What do you think of the Moxley Brody Lee match? I've got some varying opinions on who should win. I think it's quite clear who should win. Yeah,
Moxley should win. Like the idea is like he's a standing proxy for Vince, so Vince should lose. Should like? Does that mean that like I think that they should move on and like do nothing with the Dark Order and Luke Harper after that, or Brody Lee after that? No, I'm just saying like Moxley should win because like the story is he's WWE, and you're gonna have the dude that left WWE lose. That makes no fucking sense. And also like he's not as over as Moxley, so why would I change the title of the person that's over? But one thing I will say is in 2000. When was 2015? February 2015, Raw was in Orlando. This is the one I went to Raw in Orlando, like on base like 3 hours notice, right?
So more time than you had for the NXT Women's House Show.
No, that was less time actually. But But yeah, I remember like it's 5 o'clock. I'm like, I might as well go to this shit. Richie, you want to go? I think you were at work. You're like, fuck it, I'll go. I ended up taking flying up. I ended up, not flying, but driving up there. But anyway, on that show, that show's notable because that might be like the last show in WWE history they had like Dusty Rhodes and Ric Flair on the same show. Anyway, on that card was Ambrose versus Luke Harper, and they had a very good match on that there. And like, it was weird because at that point in time, like I really liked Luke Harper. I clearly thought he was the most talented wrestler in the Wyatt family, and also like it spoke for itself with the Wyatt versus for the Wyatt versus Shield stuff, the end of 2014 for Luke Harper. But anyway, like they had a really good match, and like it always stuck with me that like I saw them have a really good match live. So I wonder what they did if it was like, you know, more time at a bigger scale, if they could do it, what they could think of. And here we are. So I'm interested to see. I already know they have good chemistry in the ring, so I just want to see what they can do with, you know, in a title match.
Yeah, more guys from. I think Brody's an interesting choice here, and kind of by proxy. I don't think Moxley versus Brody Lee is some type of box office smash or anything. So, you know, I argued that they should put MJF in this spot this month, but apparently they may see bigger things for MJF and they're holding on to that. But what Mox, like, you know, it's gonna be tough for them, you know. Like Cody and Archer are going for the TNT belt. Kenny's in the tag team. We don't know what he's doing for Double or Nothing yet. So the next guy kind of on the rankings and all that they've been giving attention to is Brody Lee. So makes sense from that perspective. What I'm gathering is people either are willingly being confused by the rankings thing, or they don't know how these things work. And we've talked about that on the show. Like there's not a single ranking system in the world that the champion has to fight the contenders in order. Right. If you can find one, let me know. But I don't know, like kind of a strange match for me here. It's like more, all right, ex-WWE guys, right out of WWE guys coming for the AEW title consistently here. So I would just like them to be, you know, conscious of that.
Well, my question for you would be, and I mean, I probably would have went with Jericho again, right? And then like he beats Jericho and Jericho moves on to whatever else he's doing, but that's not what they want to go with yet. I wasn't in love with people thought of like, well, MJF could be next, because like I don't think MJF's that over. I just don't. And given that the pay-per-view's in a month, I don't know if they can build up enough tension to make you want to see it in that way. I don't know. I don't know if this is a thing where I don't know. Like, I don't think they were really good. Aside from Jericho, I don't think they were really good contenders for this cycle and given what we went through, like to get to Moxley versus anybody. So if it wasn't going to be Jericho, I don't think anybody would have been a good pick right now anyway. So, or a great pick. Like I think these, if you went with MJF or you went with Harper, Brody Lee would have been fine either way. But I think the only one that would have been like, this makes all the sense in the world given where we were storyline wise is Jericho.
Right.
And I don't know what Jericho's doing. Like, or actually, I'm pretty sure he's got to do Jericho versus Jeff Hardy. Matt Hardy. So,
Or you do him and Sammy against Hangman and Kenny if they can get Hangman to come back. But
that's another reason why I didn't think of that, because like I don't know if he's coming back. Because if he's coming back, I think he's been back by now, and maybe trying to they've been trying to build towards this eventual breakup between those two. That's off the table right now because he's at home.
What else did they have? That was around. Nyla had a squash against Kenzie Page, who was trained by Kane and Dr. Tom Pritchard. Took some good bumps. So nice video package for the women's division. They had the 24/7 countdown voice guy. Sean Spears cut an excellent promo about Cody, that scoundrel. And it was like, wow, you know, I think Shawn Spears is of value, and if he's just gonna hate Cody forever in the promotion, like they always gonna have to fight.
Yeah, this is clearly this is like what I like to call the Triple H promo, the Triple H show promo, where it's like he cuts this like halfway believable narrative promo that like makes all the sense in the world given where they are in the storyline, except like the part where you have to like say he's full of shit is because he's a bad guy and that's it. And it's like, I don't know if this necessarily does that much help for the babyface while you're doing this. Like the one I remember when he actually funny, we just talked about that Orlando Raw, is like they did that with him and Ric Flair and Sting, where he's like, you know what? Like basically Ric Flair's coming out there to tell Triple H like, you're not ready for Sting, bro. And then Triple H is like, you know what? I love you. You know why I hate Sting? Because back in '89, when you were the man, you carried that dude, and he became a star, and all he did was live off your rep. And I'm going to erase him for not like paying you respects you deserve. And then like Rick says, "All right, well, when he puts you on your ass, don't say I ain't warn you." And then he shoves Rick, and he says, after he just said that he's doing this for Rick, he says, "Shut up, old man." It's like, what the fuck is this, Triple H? Like.
Yeah.
So yeah, like
Cody, horrible brother, was established by Shawn Spears, and later we would find out he is a horrible husband as well.
Yeah.
You know,
Brandy cuts a great promo, and she talks about. It's funny because like this was like over a month ago. It feels like when Jake said that promo about Brandy, about she's Cleopatra, which means that, you know, Cody is Caesar and the Ides of March, and talking about like, are you, you know, said all types of like inappropriate things, referred to Brandy as aside from the Cleopatra line, said, are you Caesarly Cleopatra, or are you, you know, Bill's Monica or whatever else? And it's like, and so she basically is like, bro, you don't know me. Keep my name out your mouth. I ain't for this bullshit. Like, that's y'all shit. Leave me out of it. So
yeah, awesome promo.
So then,
presence, star power, all that.
Yeah, she definitely can promo. That's all I want her to ever do, though. I don't want her to do shit else. Yeah, so
or she can just take this here job to Britt.
Oh yeah, that's gonna happen. God, that's going to happen. They put it in motion. It's going to happen. Maybe look. Why can't they just cancel this shit now? Like how they canceled the Nightmare Collective. Just like this ain't gonna be a good look. This ain't gonna get either one of them over. Let's just cancel this shit. Anyway. It was QT Marshall versus Lance Archer. Lance Archer proceeds to beat the shit out of this goofball. He hit him with a forearm shot. And this is the praise I will give QT Marshall.
Oh, hold on. Let me make sure I'm sitting down here.
He sold the fuck out of this shot from the forearm shot. He sold like he had just been murdered. Like, this was Dolph Ziggler-ian selling. Like, it was incredible. He beat the shit out of him. Brandy and Britt have some exchange. I can't remember. Do you remember the exchange exactly?
I don't know what was happening. I think she got close, and then I know after the match, Britt jumped the guardrail and just hit her with the snake DDT.
Yes, on the concrete. And then after that, you know, they dispatch of QT like he should have been dispatched. They bring in Brandy. Jake goes. He's out there. He goes to the back. He grabs a snake. He brings a snake and puts it on Brandy. He then lays on top of Brandy in push-up position, and he did basically everything but hunch Brandy. I was uncomfortable. I don't know how you felt about it, but I was like, he too old to be doing this shit. Stop this, bro. Like, hey, but whatever.
Brandy was selling out, so immediate retribution.
So
I was looking for Cody. Apparently, they said he was like too far away in the building or something.
Yes, commentary said that he was so far in the back from selling some injury. I think it was a knee injury in that match. I can't remember. That he would need a golf cart to get there in time. He doesn't have access to one of those, so
he broke.
Huh?
So he had access to all that pyro, though. you know.
Sure did.
So like you know, about that, it's like this lack of awareness, motherfucker. Your wife's going out there with someone you say is your friend in QT Marshall, right? Mm-hmm. And your ass is gonna be like, oh yeah, I'll see you guys, whatever, knowing that this motherfucker busted your brother's head open the last time, literally quote unquote last week or whatever. Like, the lack of awareness is stunning.
Look,
for
my
Cody.
thing is this: if they want to use that excuse that he couldn't make it out there in time, I'm fine by that. But I need some type of update.
Like, did they cut to him for an interview?
That's my point. I need some kind of update on, is Brandy okay? Is she shook up? How pissed are / some way to get a mic in front of Cody after that happens. Like, there was a whole lot of show after this happened, and it was just dropped. And I figured that they would have touched on it. They just left it there, which I'm assuming he's gonna get a promo on Wednesday, and then touch on it. It's like, nah, bro, I wouldn't have done it this way, or I think it would have been more effective to get that promo right then than wait a week on it after everybody's cooled down or whatever else. I'm trying to think. Is there anything else of note?
Darby Allin walked off on Taz.
Oh,
Taz told me pin yourself.
Yes, which is exactly why I thought like it was a terrible finish for him, because you can say that to him, like, bro, you pinned yourself, you dummy. And he was mad. He's gotta be mad. You was dumbass, Darby.
They announced that there's going to be a casino ladder match. I would assume, like, since there's going to be no battle royal, to have 30 motherfuckers in there. Pandemic, but so far, Darby Allin and Colt Cabana have been announced. I'm waiting for Rey Fenix to be announced, because I know he's in Jacksonville right now, and he's on AEW Dark tomorrow night. He's fighting Alan Angels, the dude that Kenny went 6 minutes with. Yeah. So, I would like to see Phoenix win and have him fight Moxley on TV at some point, because this is what I mean about getting guys out their comfort zones. Like, I want to see these cross kind of matchups. Like, what does Moxley do with fucking Rey Fenix? Like, that would be fucking great. Yeah, get yourself out of, like, have these matches of styles clashes. That's the reason why we all, like, enjoyed, like the cruiserweight division when we were younger. It's like, you have high flyers, we have technicians. And I mean, now, these days we have bruisers and powerhouse and everything else, and it's to see the styles clash and what they can come up with when they put, their strengths together. So yeah, like, that's how you end up with AEW, being successful. I think, like, a lot of, like, for example, we talked about that Moxley match, right? That broke out into a fucking strong style battle out of nowhere at the end. Like, we didn't talk about that, but, like, that was the reason why, like, I liked that match so much, is like, or in two parts. It's like great technical wrestling, and then they opened up and started just like unleashing on each other, and it was interesting. Right.
Yeah. So, anything else that you can think of that happened on Dynamite? I don't remember anything.
That's it. The street fight was fucking great. Like, I lots of fun watching it. Took five niggas to beat Kenny, but
yeah. So, that's another one I forgot to bring up. So, we always get on, like, everybody outside of AEW for when they have matches that go for length, and, like, it's a quote unquote no DQ match, and it's like, why don't the Hills just hop in and cheat right now? Well, in order to forget, they started getting out of the ring once, like, they had the babyface had a pinfall, and then Hager decides to start cheating. He gets involved, and then at the very end, after like 20 minutes have gone by, at the end, to make the save at the perfect time. It's a trap. At the perfect time are Ortiz and Santana. Like, I get what y'all are saying about, like, why don't the Hills just hop in these no DQ matches and cheat all the time? But it's like, look, man, if you want to watch that kind of match, go for it. I do not. Those matches fucking stink, watching 5-on-2s for off jump. Those are dumb matches. I prefer, if you get my choice of, you got to fight two of the inner circle, knowing that it's going to eventually lead to this, or 5-on-2 off jump, I prefer the way they do it, where people just come out later. I'm fine with, like, I don't really, I wish you could just say, like, you're banished from it, or whatever else, but, like, sometimes you got to do these matches to get heat.
So I think it was a strategy by the Inner Circle to lure them boys out that way and the stunt because of the scoreboard. Like, so they knew they had to get them out there. And, you know, once he was out there, the signal was given. Once he was in the air.
Are you saying the Inner Circle laid out this elaborate plan, or that Tony Khan, the booker, laid out elaborate
the Inner Circle. I don't know what you mean by a booker. I don't know who, like, Tony Khan. What do you mean? Like,
all right.
You know, this is a shoot, brother. You know.
Yes, and I'm sure that Johnny Gargano and Candice Ray both were the booker when they decided, like, yeah, we're gonna go 50 minutes, and at the 48-minute mark, you come out and then you kick him in the dick. It's the same shit. Like, it's the same thing. Like, you're gonna have a fuck finish at the end. Do you want it for 50? Do you want it for the whole duration of the match, or at the end? You decide. Like. It's American wrestling. This is the shit they do in American wrestling. I wish they stopped doing this shit. You can't stop them from doing it, apparently. It can't find a way to just not do this in American wrestling or whatever. This is what they do. It's the lesser of the evil, I guess, in my opinion. I'm with you. I hated the finish. I thought that, like, goddamn, like...
No, so the Gargano and Ciampa thing. I never watched the match, by the way. You know,
but I can go through a bunch of different matches you've seen before, where like, in WWE or whatever else, where like it's a no DQ match or there's interference in the match. It's like, well, y'all went this long. Why didn't you do the cheating earlier or whatever else? Like, and this is just American wrestling. I don't like it when they do it, but like it happens from time to time. I got a good match for those parts, so I'm not complaining that much. Like another one would be that like 4-star.
I just had a timeline of Blaze, like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It was like one of those celebrations, like on the timeline, like that was happening all throughout the month of February when AEW finished with a great show. Like people were just happy to see this thing back live again, and I don't know. I guess just there's a different energy around it when it's live, but.
I don't know if this was better than their show from like 2 weeks ago, but I thought it was a very good show.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, one of the things about doing one of these shows like on a Monday after a WWE pay-per-view is that like we have these Wednesday shows or whatever else, and there's only so long I can stay mad.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're about to go through this NXT review. From last Wednesday.
I didn't watch it like I watched last week's, but like this was another one of those takeover pay-per-view ones, bro.
They put that kind of card out, yeah.
Bro, just every review ripping it to pieces, just saying how bad like the structure of NXT is. Like it seems like this show was like steak for anyone with long form kind of talking points on the direction of NXT.
Oh, you mean like me?
Like me too. Like I said a lot of this stuff too. Like
the shit is just like
we call what's happening like with the women's division, and then like the men's division. We were talking about that, months ago. At
the beginning of this year, when it's like, all right, well, like the best thing on it is like the women or whatever else. It's just they have. Okay, so. First match on the card was Gargano versus Dijakovic, and it's a good match. The problem is they're beating the shit out of each other, lots of Chris strikes, good wrestling. The problem is like over and over and over they keep having Candice come in and distract this dumbass Dijak. He keeps getting distracted, and eventually Gargano, after like the 20th distraction, puts him away. So great, Dijak, you're a mid-card babyface on this brand. You are not getting a promotion. You will be doing jobs to Jonathan Gargano. Fine, like whatever. I would have wished that like either you give Dijak the win here or find a DQ to get out of it or something. I actually really, like, if you're going to come to DQ, like, my point, like, just don't put the match. Like, I don't think that, like, Johnny Gargano needs a win right now. I don't think Johnny Gargano does not need a fucking win. But this is the thing, like, in a vacuum, it's not the end of the world. And just like, we're going to go through all these finishes on the big matches on this card. Like, these are not like the end, the camel, these are not like these devastatingly bad decisions. It's just that, like, once you do this on a card in the context of you did this all in one night, it's just all the fucking heat in the world, right? Like, so Gargano just cheats his ass off and wins that match. Really good match, but cheats his ass off in that match. I don't even remember. Then they start having a bunch of short ass matches, right? They had a
Tozawa versus Gallagher.
Tozawa versus Gallagher was super short. Yeah, and it was fine. It wasn't like I don't know what's going on with Gallagher. Gallagher is not as good as he was. Let's say 2007. Let's say 2016. He's not as good. It feels like it. Watch these matches.
Man's depressed.
Maybe like I don't know. But like this whole thing of like his work style now that he's a heel is not like he's still good, but it's like before I used to be like every time I saw him I had a blast. Not no more.
Also, with the tournament, like they can't just chop these matches to like 3 minutes and expect people to take them serious.
Right.
The same way.
I was going to get to that after the second one, but yeah, you're right. Like this is the first one of the match of the night that goes super short. It's a 2-hour show, and you have 5 matches that mattered, and only one of them didn't go super short. That's a problem. Like, don't book matches that have importance, and then they all go super short. What the fuck? So. I can't remember what's next on the card after that. I'm just going to go straight
Chelsea Green, Xia Li.
Chelsea Green, Xia Li. Chelsea ends up winning after Aaliyah comes out, and she's still mad about the broken nose thing from months ago, even though I thought that was squashed, even dating back to before WrestleMania. But she's still mad. She ends up dumb babyface stuff here. Xia has the match won, is about to go for a finish. Aaliyah single leg climbs up on the apron. Xia takes her out. She runs and then turns around and she runs to a finisher from Chelsea. So it looks like from there, Robert Stone extends a hand to Single leg. Single leg gets up and is now apparently going to be the paint eater for Chelsea Green in the Robert Stone brand. I don't know where Vanessa Bourne is. I don't know what's going on, but that looks like that's Finito. I think as far as a fit, given like what the Robert Stone thing has been with Chelsea and what Aaliyah's old gimmick was, I think it's a great fit. And if she's gonna go out there and just eat pins to protect Chelsea, fine.
Yeah, we'll see her in 4 months.
Right. Look, more heat, but the back to back. So what was the next after that? Because you have the lit thing up.
It's Killer Cross. Excuse me, Karrion Kross.
Oh, Karrion Kross has a kick-ass entrance. But the problem is, it's more super dark metal motherfucker of the day at NXT. This goes back to Sanity. This goes back to Aleister Black. This goes back to the Ascension. I'm sure I'm forgetting other people too.
Bro. The fucking lip syncing, Scarlett not being like sexy anymore. She's like scary. It's like, how do y'all make her less like appealing? Like Scarlett Bordeaux of all people, like the cringe lip syncing of the song, and oh my god, it was just so much. It was like, all right, y'all know what I'm gonna say. We're gonna know exactly when they give up on this dude, if they do, right? All the fucking smoke in the ring is just so overproduced and like it's just exhausting at this point.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot Rhea Ripley when I went to talk about the people dark metal and whatnot. Yeah, it's another one. Yeah, so that's the new one. So we'll see where that goes. He squashed somebody with like fucking like choke suplexes or whatever else. Leon Ruff, you said, yeah. You know, look at the cheeseburger influence. Look at it. Next match after that, was it the Candice or the EO? Yep.
And Charlotte.
Yep. They're having a good match. The match, it only goes 7 minutes, but by the time they get to like the 5 minute match or whatever, or mark or whatever else, the match starts getting very good. It leads to a moonsault from EO off of the top rope onto the floor. She misses it because Charlotte gets out the way. Charlotte grabs a kendo stick, hits her with it, then proceeds to, for the DQ, of course, fuck finish. She proceeds to beat the shit out of EO and is targeting the leg and is about to go for the Bret Hart leg figure 4. Rhea runs out, makes a save, And then Io is mad at Rhea, even though Rhea just saved her from being put on the shelf because the match was already thrown out because Charlotte hit her with a kendo stick, as I just mentioned. They go to commercial break, they come back. Go ahead.
So is Charlotte like a babyface or...
No, she's a heel.
Because I've been hearing in different circles like she's actually supposed to be a babyface or some shit. But like...
Look, this is what I'm going to say to you. A few months ago, we were also hearing that like they were going for Seth with Messiah shit to be Bret Hart 97. Does any of that reminds you of Bret Hart 1997 to you? So like people say a lot of shit. That's basically what I'm coming out. I'm gonna tell you what it comes out when they look at on TV. She's a heel.
Io Shirai versus Charlotte. You can only do the match for the first time, one time ever, and this is what they decide to do. This is why we can't this is why we can't trust WWE a lot of times. Like I thought this was no BS, James. Like what is this?
The fourth time we got BS in span of like an hour and 10 minutes. Like think of the match we just went through. Every match had fucking, except for the Karrion Kross match, had fucking heat because a heel cheated. Right. Next, I don't even know what the next match. Oh yeah. So after they go for commercial break, after Rhea made the save, they're outside on the outside the compound, the campus, whatever you want to call Full Sail, and
it's like we're been for a month, Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, they ask her, this is the first time we've seen you since WrestleMania match was going on, blah blah blah. She goes try to answer. Io comes out and says, you fuck you, basically, or whatever else, and they start arguing. There's a pull apart, and we don't know what the future holds for them. To me, it looks like they're headed towards a 3-way. I don't know, whatever. Yeah, next, what was the next match after that?
Kushida and Jake Atlas.
Yeah. This match is where I had my fucking breaking point when I started to realize what's going on. Like, or before I fully turned on the show. Because, like, there's good wrestling going on the show. It's just, like, the decisions and the booking is fucking up what's going on, what I'm watching. So, those two go out there and proceed to fly around, flip around, have great technical ability. It's a Kushida match versus a dude that can fly. It's a great match. It goes like, in my mind, I'm like, holy shit, it's only went like 5 minutes. Kushida beats him by catching him in some type of flying armbar, gets the pin. And the thing for me was like, so y'all just had a cruiserweight match. Cruiserweight tournament match goes short before, earlier tonight. This second one on the card, this one also goes short. You are setting up your group final for this block, group whatever you want to call it, to be 2-0 Kushida versus 1-1 Drake Maverick, where Drake Maverick has to beat Kushida to win on the tiebreaker, and the person he lost to just got dispatched by Kushida inside of 5 minutes. That's fucking dumb. So, I'm just like, another part about it is like, it went super short, and it just hurt Drake Maverick, in theory. And, like, what they were doing was kick ass. Like, and it's Kushida. He can go 12 minutes. I've seen it. On your own fucking television, I've seen it. He had a 4 1/4 match with Walter last year on NXT. Why can't we watch this dude wrestle for a long period of time? I don't get it. Whatever. So,
what a step up in his career.
Yeah, right. He's going to be the NXT Cruiserweight Champion. So, the interim Cruiserweight Champion. I'm sorry. But
You're
anyway.
right.
So, so then after that, I'm like, well, it's like 9:20 or 9:30 or something like that. I'm like, what could they possibly be doing? Like, is Velveteen and Adam Cole about to go 30 minutes? What's going on? No.
Jesus, I hope not.
Maybe in 2018 or 19. So they cut to, and I forgot about this. They had last week. They promoted that we missed out on Velveteen versus Finn Balor from last week because someone attacked Finn Balor and ransacked his locker room, even though they showed the locker room with no sight of Finn Balor. Finn Balor's there to address who may have done this. It turns, so he basically says, I don't know who did this, but I'm going to find out, and when I do, I'm on your ass.
This promo was terrible.
So, from there, he goes to the back. He basically said, like, anyone, I'm anybody, everybody's suspect, so be able to look over your shoulders, I'm going to find whoever did this. So,
he started doing all these insider shoot comments.
Oh, yeah.
It was like, nigga, what?
Oh, yeah, he said, like, he's like, people are trying to hurt me to get a push, but if you're going to run into me and it's going to be a squash. He said something basically like that verbatim, or very close to what he said. So, not verbatim. That'd be the opposite of verbatim. So then, out comes Cameron Grimes against, I think, Denzel Dejournette.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, bro, this cheeseburger influence is there. So, anyway, he goes for his for the double stomp. He misses double stomp. There's another move. He hits a double stomp. Then he gets on the mic and says that, like, there are people out here like Finn Balor is talking that shit, and I don't know why he's talking this reckless, because if I see him, I'm slapping across his face. He keeps talking cash shit as Balor walks out, and he has his face like, motherfucker, you said what? He walks out. He gets face to face with Grimes. Grimes is like, hey, bro, I'm not, like, I was just talking, bro. Like, this ain't the time and place for this kind of shit. And he basically bitches and hoes Cameron Grimes. He whoops his ass, and then he goes to the back, which is like, okay, so he just whooped the dude, just squashed the dude. So who got over here?
Right.
Like, that did nothing for Grimes. Grimes is looking up at the stars after this. Anyway, just by somebody's big whatever. So I'm like, okay, so y'all did that and wasted. It's probably like 5 minutes, 6 minutes. Y'all wasted that time when you could have given that to Kushida and Atlas. And like, we still don't know Atlas. This is the second time we ever seen, or no, the second time we ever seen Atlas.
Very early,
or the third time we've seen Atlas. Like, let's see what he can do. Like, he looked spectacular in the match he had with Kushida, but it only went like 5 minutes. And when I found out after that it didn't in fact go 5 minutes, it went closer to 3 minutes, I got even more mad at the time. But it's been days, so like, even if you hear how mad I am now or whatever else, it was a lot worse then. So then we get to the main event, NXT title match, Adam Cole versus Velveteen Dream. They begin to wrestle like they're up against the clock and is going into a sprint.
7 minutes and 48 seconds.
Okay, so the problem with that is it went through a commercial break, so it went like 9 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever.
Gotcha.
Whatever. No, actually, whatever. It doesn't matter. Like, it started. It was like 9:49 or some shit like that when the bell rang. So they're wrestling, and it's like, okay, they're wrestling, and Adam Cole looks like he's about to be put away. Out comes Undisputed. Undisputed comes out down the ramp. All of a sudden, Dexter Lewis comes crawling from underneath the apron. Then, all of a sudden, Roddy comes charging at Loomis. Loomis throws him up onto the apron. The ref, by this point in time, is stuck his head between the ropes to tell the riffraff to go away. Ends up being a ref bump when he gets thrown up in the sky into the ref. Velveteen, because it's 2-on-1 on the outside, helps even the odds with a dive. So clears off all the riffraff that happened on the outside. Climbs back into the ring, eats a super kick, eats a knee, the last ride, and he gets pinned. So it's like, Jesus Christ! Like, think of these last Adam Cole title defenses since Survivor Series. He has a match with Finn Balor that was built up. Finn Balor has him beat until Johnny Gargano comes out and he's distracted, and Cole basically hits with a super kick and then knees him. Go to the Portland match with Ciampa. They do all the same interference from the 2 out of 3 falls match from NXT New York with Gargano from the first Gargano Cole match. Except this time, Adam, after surviving all that, out comes Gargano, hits him with the belt shot, pins him. Then you have more this match with the interference. It's like, all right, you've done 3 straight fucking title matches where interference has led to saving Adam Cole's ass. I'm done. We need a new champion. We need to build up somebody to take the belt off of him because y'all out of ideas with the dude.
I was going to ask, does it feel like Cole's even the central guy on the show anymore? And how long has it been since that's not been the case?
I don't know who the central guy is on the show. I have no idea.
I think that's a sign.
Who's top star in NXT right now? I have no fucking clue.
Right. And it's like...
It used to be Johnny. They fucked that up. Before then, it was... I mean, I don't know. It's done now, but it can't be Johnny again.
This match got abused in the head-to-head ratings against a street fight. I'm like,
what a shock!
Like an absolute, like I'm talking like high 800,000s to like 500,000 live viewers, 593 or something like that.
I hope it's like, why would I be shocked by that? I just detailed to you that all the show was fucking heat.
Yeah,
and not good matches because you want to call these matches because you don't want to beat anybody.
Yeah, it's
after you spent weeks promoting these matches and then you don't want to beat anybody after you promoted them.
Yeah,
you boy, like fuck off.
Yep, and it's like this is a different company. This is a different NXT than NXT was 12 months ago.
This is a different company than NXT was 4 months ago. This is a different NXT than it was before. Like, you look at this stretch from Portland to now, this is totally different.
Yeah.
Obviously, you have the stuff of, you know, the pandemic. It's changed the way, you know, the wrestling has been being done or whatever else. However, like, you watch that TakeOver show and you're just like, this is still the best wrestling. This is still the best American in-ring product we have. Now they're booking as if they don't know what's coming next week.
Yeah, it feels like they're feeling the pressure from a lot of different angles.
I mean, they did a lot of hot shotting to get to Portland, but at the same time, they could have recalibrated and just simply put people in spots and push them to certain levels, and they did none of that. Like, well, really, since WrestleMania, the only person that they really did that with was like, or not at WrestleMania, but you know what I mean. Like they put EO in position to be the title contender. They just fucked that, right? By I don't know, or whatever else. Who knows what they do with that?
Didn't she win a ladder match to just get this match?
She won a ladder match to get that match, and then
it's like, what's the fucking point? Like
to do a fuck finish?
It's
even further.
It's so dumb. It's
lazy.
Like
it's lazy.
It's like, why do we care about the ladder match the next time you do it for the number one contender? Like, it's just like simple rules of booking that they're just feel like they're being just violated, and this is like shit that just will come back to you at the like at least expected, and you look up and it's like, wow, we've set a trap for ourselves that's been 3 months in the making.
So
like
next week is Thatcher and Riddle versus
Undisputed Era, right?
Undisputed. They've ran through that already. Through
Imperium.
Eichner and Bartel. Yeah. So that's the only thing I think is on tap for next week. But we better get a whole lot of fucking answers because, like, obviously we know we're going to get to Cruiserweight Classic, two Cruiserweight tournament matches, whatever else. But like outside of that, I don't know what else is on tap. But they need to get some answers on what the fuck they're doing because.
Like they have no identity.
Their roster positioning's all fucked up. I can't tell who the top baby face in the men's singles division is. I don't know who the next potential title contender is, which is like you should be able to see that come around the corner for easily. They have no one set up. The women, I don't know.
That's the Charlotte Vortex. Like
I don't know. Like it could be a 3-way. It could be Io and Rhea fight to get to Charlotte. It could be the rematch from WrestleMania. I don't know. Or they could run back Io versus Charlotte. But like if you do that, like that rating is going to tank because you just fucked your fans on Wednesday with that nonsense.
Yeah. Yeah. The Cole thing is like really like becoming a glaring issue. I think.
The only thing I can think of for him right now at this moment is to either they need to get Riddle out of that shit, or actually,
He beat Riddle too.
But that was in November, or not November, October.
Yeah.
The problem, like, I don't know, like they don't have good options. The only one I can really think of that I would be intrigued by is like, you know, last year around this time they did tease that they were going to break up Undisputed Era. They could tease that again, and then finally do Strong versus Cole. But outside of that, I don't know. Like, and the weird thing about it is because of that finish, like that just leads you to believe they're going to do Cole versus Velveteen again. And I'm like, I just saw the 7 minutes in a sprint. I don't want to watch it now in front of no fans for 18 minutes. I'm good.
What do you make of the new NXT main event talent, Dexter Lumis?
I don't know what they're. I don't know. I think that they're probably by the end of all of this said and done, like they're going to do an odd couples tag team with Velveteen and Lumis, and you know, it's fine. I don't know. I like the Lumis match from a few weeks ago, the singles match. I enjoyed that match, but it's like he's playing a character, and it's like I don't watch NXT for characters. I watch NXT to watch the best of wrestling in America. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I like the best in-ring product in America. Like in simple booking, like take that shit to the main roster, bro. Like put him with Bray Wyatt.
Yeah. Dynamite was great.
Yeah, so I think that's it. I don't have anything else.
Yeah, I think that's all. Thank you guys for listening to the show. If you guys feel so as moved to make a donation to the show, y'all know how to do it. We appreciate everybody that has so far. I'm a filibuster while James gets ready to close this bitch down.
My phone just died, so I'm at the end of my head. Thanks for listening to the show. Be sure to rate us on whatever app you're using to listen to this. Tell the folks about the Social Suplex Podcast Network. Also, shout out to our friends at Powerslam.tv to sponsor the show. If you're a fan of independent pro wrestling, have over 5,000 hours of footage from all over the world. You can use the code Social Suplex to get your free month's trial. Check out ProWrestlingTees.com/Social Suplex and pick up some official Social Suplex Podcast Network merchandise. And also check out the other shows on the Social Suplex Podcast Network on Sundays or Mondays, like days like this. You have One-Ish Radio. On Tuesdays, you have Keepin It Strong Style. On Wednesdays, you have the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Podcast or the Wrestling Show. Podcast. Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show. On every other Wednesday,
hope to see him back soon.
Yeah. Every other Wednesday, you have Grown Men Watch the Shit. On Fridays, you have Get in the Ring, and on Saturdays, you have All Things Elite. Thanks for listening.
Peace.
Later.